Gives me the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to also share with you one of our very special guests serving as our keynote speaker here today. This individual, many of us know, and those of us who don't, after today, we hope that you will continuously want to stay in contact with him and show your support as well as your concerns as well. Many times in the past, this gentleman has made the statement, not to be used, but utilize me for what I need to do. And so I'm very thankful that I'm able to continuously echo those words as well in my position, to not use me, but utilize me in what needs to be done. This individual, as I read about some of the information, born in Northampton County, North Carolina, which makes him, again, a brother to me, but not just in that manner in reference to the state that we both are from, but also the relationship that we share in reference to our tribal affiliation, the Scurure, or more so known as the Tuscarora. We know that his time here in Maryland has been serving to promote and represent various individuals. Some of those individuals, of course, representing the District 45 with Baltimore City, and serving as the majority whip as well here in the state. Would you please give a warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Delegate Talmadge Branch, at this time.
It's a pleasure to certainly be here. Let me say that this kickoff is a very, very important moment for me to know that you now have a day here in Maryland where it would be recognized that Native American Month is here in Maryland, and it's recognized each year. Each year there will be some proclamation, in some way it would be recognized that you are the indigenous people of the state and that you are the individuals that they recognize by this month. So in having a month dedicated to you, I think that is certainly paramount to be able to say that you have a day in your name and in your honor. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I think Keith told you some. Tuscarora, African American. Dad's is a half Tuscarora, which makes me about a quarter. And of course, I don't even look at blood quantum. I look at myself as being who I am, and it's a pleasure to know who you are. Sometimes I hear people say that they're Native, and I hear them try to explain to me how that they are, but at the same time, it really doesn't matter if you know who you are. And one of the pleasures that I have is knowing why I look the way that I look, why I stand for the things that I stand for, and why I am who I am. I don't have a problem. I don't need anybody to tell me who I am. I don't need anybody to tell me what things I should believe in and not believe in. In the black community, if you say you're anything else other than being black, sometimes they'll think you're in some way disregarding the fact that you are black. But I don't do that. I embrace both cultures, because both cultures is who I am, and that is what I recognize and what I support. So let me say that Maryland is inextricably linked to the history of American Indians, with the reminder of their legacy speaking to Marylanders through name, in its counties, and its parks, including waterways such as Wacomico County, Allegheny County, Seneca Park, the Potomac River, and the Chesapeake Bay, the nation's largest estuary that derived from a Powhatan word, Chesapeake, meaning great shellfish of bay. So at the same time, we also recognize and had natives that had served with valor in all wars that the United States has engaged in, from the Revolutionary War to the conflicts in the Persian Gulf, often serving in great numbers, fortunately, than the population of the nation as a whole. Let me also just say that the fact that we have this day as a month, and as a kickoff month and a month to honor, let's keep in mind that George Bush President George Bush approved the joint resolution of Congress designating 1990, and they had various resolutions up through 1994, designating National Native American Month. But I just want you to understand that this did not just happen. This isn't something that just happened. A lot of times we sit, including myself, I find later that they passed a law that I don't even know about, and I didn't have any input to it. But many of the Congress people and many people like you that participated in making sure that Native American Month nationally happened is something that we should be proud of. Because all of us didn't participate in that. Yours truly, standing here, that participated in that. But we didn't. And I kind of knew that Native American Month was Native American Month in November, and I think everybody knew that. But again, it is an honor to kick off the month knowing that it is yours. That the state of Maryland has recognized you, just as they have recognized some of the tribes here. But that is important to me. And I just wanted to say that things just doesn't happen. Work and fight goes into it. So, just to mention, in Annapolis, we've had a number of successes. We started out with House Resolution 4 in 2002, which actually did what this bill does today. The only thing it didn't do, it didn't make it every month. But we were able to pass it. We're able to move it along. Then in 2008, you had the success of passing an American Indian Heritage Day piece of legislation that designated your day as a holiday for you here in the state. But then we went a bit further, and in January 2012, we passed the recognition of state tribes, which included the two, the Piscataway, Nui, and the Piscataway Nation. But I just want to say that these accomplishments came with having a fight. It came with having to push. It didn't happen easily. It didn't happen just because one day we woke up and the governor was ready to go down to sign a petition to recognize the tribes of the state of Maryland. It didn't happen that way. American Indian Commission, Keith, Colston, and a number of you, a number of the tribal leaders came down, testified, pushed hard to make sure that we could have many of these issues that I'm talking about today. Some time back, I started to fight for recognition, and back in 2000, and I wanted to make sure that I did something for my own people. People that I love, people that I cared for. I wanted to make sure I did something for my ancestors, for my grandparents. I wanted to move along an agenda for Native American people. And I began to do that at the start of trying to get recognition of a couple of the tribes that had already put in petitions. And, of course, I failed. And I failed not realizing that there was a person in state government that was blocking the petitions for moving forward. Because he didn't believe they were Indian in Maryland. I'm not going to call the individuals' names, but I said, if you don't believe they're Indian in Maryland, then you don't believe there are white people in Maryland. You can't possibly believe that if you don't believe that they're Indian. Our tribe, Tuscaroras, we passed through here on our way to New York, stopping in Carroll County, having to name a town named after us called Indian Town before they changed it to its proper name. But that's what I wanted to do, and that's what many of you wanted to do in making change, beginning to get some sort of recognition for who we are, that we are a people, and that we are the indigenous people of this state, and we do belong in this state, and that we should be recognized. We should have some sort of recognition and not constantly be put on the back shelf.
Oh.
I truly believe that. And I'm truly speaking from my heart today. These are accomplishments that couldn't have happened without many of them. So we went on to get the governor, and we went through 3 governors just getting to this particular point of having us to get a recognition. 3 governors. And so here it is today that we do have recognition. But ladies and gentlemen, let me say there are 20,000 Native Americans in this state. There are 8 tribes. And let me say that we should be doing a better job and pushing forward one day that we have that many states don't have. States out in the West would just go crazy to have the day that I'm going to mention in a minute. Go crazy to have the day called their own. So as you celebrate throughout the month, you're going to celebrate all kinds of events. You're going to have all kinds of ceremonies. You're going to have everything you want to have in front of you dealing with Native American and Native American heritage. But please embrace one thing. You have a Native American Heritage Day, a state-paid holiday. Schools, workers are off on that day. They are home on that day. They don't have to do anything but stay home because it is a holiday that we fought so hard for to make sure you had. And the commission did a great job in making sure that that came true. But let me say, you all have a stake in this and you have a part in making this happen too, because right now I see it as being too quiet. We haven't done anything. We're not doing what we should do. We can do more. I think we can do more to have a state holiday in our name. If this was out west, they'd be going nuts and bonkers, and you hear and see all kinds of stuff going on that day. Because it's their day. African Americans have Martin Luther King Day. You can bet your last money. You know it's Martin Luther King Day when you turn on that TV. You know they're off of school, you know why they're off, and you know that it is Martin Luther King Day because they make it Martin Luther King Day. They own up to it. They breathe the life into that day, as you gotta do with yours. You cannot just sit by and be idle. You just cannot not have. You gotta do press conferences. I'm talking to the tribes. You gotta do press conferences on that day. You've got to come together with one big prayer, one big ceremony, one big something to show we are together. We're together. You've got to show that. We've got to begin to embrace our culture in a real way and make it real. And make it very real. Sometimes I get a little disappointed when I see us just doing the basic ceremonial things when I know our grandparents and great-grandparents wouldn't hear of it. I was in a store one day with my dad and I broke down in tears. And I was elected. Just got it. And he said, "What's wrong? You okay?" I said, "Well, I was just thinking about some boots that Granddad had that he wouldn't that he just kept with him all the time." He said, "Well, The fact that you started this crying and couldn't stop is probably because you need to do something for them. They've done so much for you. You probably need to do something for them, to honor them in some way. So I picked up the mantle to make sure that I began to do the work of Native American people. And here it is today. We have made accomplishments. And I didn't do it by myself. I couldn't have done it without many of you. Your help was certainly necessary and important. You certainly added to it. But we've got to take back the honor and hold it in our hands, as I know that we can. Because we cannot continue to not recognize the day, like the American Heritage Day, that you own. It's your day. It's your day. It's my day. And I worked hard, you and Keith, Rico and others, with Mervyn, we worked hard to make sure that that day happened. That belongs to you, but if we don't collectively come together, it's going to go away. We've got to breathe the life into that. Make it real, and we've got to make it necessary. Which brings me to I can't get this poem out of my, not a poem, but this old saying out of my mind. So I brought it just to share with you, and I'm sure you've all heard this before, but it was an old Indian that told his grandson, said, "My son, there's a battle between two wolves inside of me. One is evil. It is anger, jealousy, greed, resentment, weak, inferiority, lies, and ego." He said, but the other wolf is good. It is joy, it's peace, it's love, it's hope, it's humility, it's kindness, it's empathy, and it's truth. So his grandson thought about it. The boy thought about what his grandfather said. And then he's asked, he said, "Grandfather, which wolf wins? Which wolf wins?" And the old man kindly and quietly replied, "The one you feed. That is the one that wins." So ladies and gentlemen, today, as we kick off this month, I want you to feed the fact that we have a job before us to do, and we cannot forget who we are. We cannot forget what we're here for. We cannot forget that we are Maryland's #1 people and the #1 people of this nation. We cannot forget our ancestors. We cannot forget the hills that we stand on. We cannot fall back and not remember the truth. We have to feed, as that wolf. We have to feed on that. That's the one that we feed. We feed the truth. We feed the prosperity. We feed every point and every piece of our heritage that we can possibly feed to make sure that we know and we carry out for our children and our children's children and their children just what all of this really means. Because somebody's going to forget the story to all of this, and it's not going to be told. But we got to be the ones to bear that. We've got to be the one to remember to feed that good wolf and to feed them so that we can come back from within ourselves and breathe the breath of life and the breath of our culture into our children, our children's children, and even our friends. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will not have much more of your time, but let me say it, Pastor language, one, which means till we meet again, and always. Thank you.